Okay, good morning also from our part. I'm Juha-Matti, here's Tiia.
Hi.
Our topic is called Designing the Last Mile of Winning Customer Experience. We're gonna tackle the topic a little bit from the design perspective, but mainly from the leadership and managerial point of view. So the topic could also be how to enable the design of winning customer experience. But anyhow, let's get started. So, customer experience seems to be on most companies' agenda. Hence, the business value of having a great customer experience seems to be evident based on quite a wide research. And let's look at few numbers.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, exactly. So according to PwC, actually 1 in 3 customers are willing to abandon a brand that they love just for one bad experience. And if we look at the numbers, companies that are focusing on customer experience and operating with customer experience mindset are reported to drive between 4 to 8% higher revenues. And 84% of companies that have increased or improved in customer experience have reported an increase on revenues because of that. And if we look at the bottom line, 60% more profitability have been reported from companies that are focusing on customer experience than those who don't. So it's no wonder that customer experience is a strategic goal for so many companies.
Yeah, quite promising numbers or dramatic numbers. So, if everyone's competing with customer experience and trying to differentiate with customer experience, the opportunity to kind of win with that, the margin is getting tinier and tinier. And in many industries, the products and services as a baseline, they are pretty much alike. So each company whose product or service as a baseline is good enough actually has an opportunity to win with the customer experience and differentiate if that challenge is taken seriously. So in this talk we aim to offer 3 themes or thinking points what to consider when working on your customer experience. Okay, so let's go into the point 1, which is that when margins for differentiation are small, the design of customer experience needs to tackle even smaller details of customer expectations, behavior, and emotions. So let's look at this in a bit more detail. As the margins are smaller, the emotional experience is becoming increasingly important differentiating factor, so just tackling those functional needs is not enough. And to be able to tackle those needs and the emotional experiences, a good starting point is to start figuring out what's the role of what is or could be the role of your product or service in a customer's life. So looking into these scenarios and situations where you're present and what kind of role you have or could have there. So start exploring the jobs that a customer hires your product for and try to figure out what are those meaningful moments where you need to shine. And when you get the grasp of these things, then you can start planning your customer journeys and your experiences. And when you're looking at the journey, it's important to start by looking at the situation and the journey is really from the customer's eyes, and not from this expected journey that you think internally that the situation could be. And also, it's important to look into kind of the extended ecosystem, what kind of other actors, what kind of other products and services are related to the use of your product. and that will give you opportunity to figure out your positioning and your potential partnerships, for example. And when designing the experiences, it's important to tackle these meaningful moments and dare to stay out of the way for the rest of the time. Because if you're driving too much engagement on the kind of the situations where you're not really creating value, that actually turns into counterproductive and just might burden your clients and drive them to your competitors. And then as a next bit, when designing the journey or looking into the customer experience, it's good to look at the whole life cycle of the customer relationship. It's actually it's a bit unfortunate that still quite some companies still tend to do these kind of point solutions, putting their experience efforts to like these kind of single point interactions. For example, trying to maximize what happens in the sales phase and then missing out on rest of the customer relationship and miss out a lot of commercial opportunities and opportunities for retention, for example. Then the next bit, do your benchmark, but don't copy blindly, because as we're talking about this margin, so it's those little details that will differentiate you. So those are, in the end, they are different from product to product. But it's of course good to see like what's the minimum base level of experience to provide from competition, but kind of that's it in a way. For example, Amazon actually they, as one of their principles, they're saying that their people should be customer obsessed, but they shouldn't be competitor focused. So they're focusing on their customer and the stuff that they do. So they're to show your own strength, your own persona in your experiences. And then do the discovery proactively, because customers won't do it for you. Yeah, some customers, of course, will give you some feedback that this is not working, but in a wider sense, they probably just gonna walk out and go to your to the next best
Exactly.
thing. So to get a grasp of what we just discussed there, it's important to do the proper research and insight creation, because it's those details that will make or break your success with the customer experience, and especially with the last mile. Let's take a personal example from Tiia next.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah. So I've been a customer of Zalando for quite some time now. So that's basically what I'm expecting, or what I'm accustomed to as a customer when I'm doing online clothing purchasing. But recently I needed to get clothing for my kid, and I wanted to go for this local major retailing brand. And due to Corona, I wanted to do this online. And online shopping experience was good, and in the end I got my package, and the clothing again was really good quality and fitting for my kid, but the overall delivery and overall process, what happened, weren't quite there what I was expecting as a customer. It took close to pretty much triple the time that it takes from Zalando to deliver a package, and there was this kind of bits and pieces of the communication missing that I was expecting as a customer. I didn't know the estimated delivery time of my parcel, and when it started taking longer than I'm accustomed to, I as a customer kind of had to go to them and start digging for the information just to find out that my parcel even hasn't been shipped. So the point here is that even though your core might be doing great, your clothing is super good, it's those bits and pieces that put together the total experience for the customer. And in this case, I guess we can say that, well, it didn't work for their competitive advantage. So coming to our second point here, to provide winning customer experience, all employees and solutions putting together that winning customer experience need to understand what the customers are about. And what we mean by that is that providing customer experience and putting together a winning customer experience is definitely not just one person or department's job. It's the sum of those interactions that happen with the customers. So everybody involved needs to understand the details of customers' needs and wants, behavior and emotion to be able to provide that winning customer experience. And as your customer experience is pretty much as good as your last interaction with the clients, it's really important that all those involved work together and they also share an understanding of what the winning customer experience looks like in your context. And to do that, customer experience needs to be a strategic cause for your company. And here's where management leadership come in to act as an enabler and making sure that the reasons why your company does things and how you measure, for example, success, the customers there in the beginning. And although I just said that it's not a job for just one person or the department, it is great to see that there is nowadays roles for ownership for customer experience in so many companies. Because these roles are really important that we make sure that there is this cross-company collaboration. And because, well, winning customer experience, it doesn't happen in silos. And last but not least, to our second point, to provide this wholesome experience, we need to employ the customer data from each touch point. You're not able to serve your customer in the best possible way if you don't know what else happened with the customer during the other process. So use the data and learn to provide a wholesome winning customer experience. To sum up, providing winning customer experience is near impossible without shared understanding across the company.
Yep. Exactly.
Exactly. So coming to our last third point. In order to win with that margin, customer experience needs ongoing focus, it needs investments, and it needs to be a core value of your company. What we mean by this is that where customer experience is not a task or responsibility for one person or a team, what it also is not, it's not a one-time project, something that you can tick have done today and then just forget about it. It needs to be continuous daily work and practices. And here again, leadership is a key enabler for great customer experience. We need to make sure that there's enough room and resources to do those practices that enable great customer experience, like customer research, insight creation, and sharing of those insights across the company. And the customer experience, it should be there. It should be at the beginning. It should be why you do things. If it is not, it will always come as an afterthought, something that's kind of glued over of something that you already did, where it should be there in the beginning of why you do things. And last but not least, when we keep being humble, open-minded, and obsessed with our customer experience can be a great source for innovation and new business opportunities. And hey, if you don't want to take it from us, there's a couple companies who have made it pretty well being customer obsessed. So maybe you should consider it too.
Yeah. All right. So we promised 3 key points, but there were quite many sub-points in these 3 points. So sum up our presentation, we'd like to highlight these few items still. So. As said, winning customer experience doesn't happen by chance. So make sure that it's a shared strategic goal, and there's enough room for this customer experience or customer-centric practices. So sharing insights, doing cross-function collaboration, and doing the actual research and insight creation. And as a second bit. Do your research and know your customer, and as a key thing in this second point is that the knowledge about the customer needs to be spread out through all the functions and people who even remotely work with or towards the customers and creating the customer experience. And as the last point, start building today. So customer experience can either be your opportunity or it can be your disadvantage, depending how you look at it.
Yeah.
So start building your customer experience practices, culture, and it's well, as a direct self-advertisement, you can always accelerate that build, that change by using external experts to help you with that.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to look close and find where you should make efforts. So gladly you don't have to do it on your own.
Yeah. So that sums up our presentation. So thank you very much for listening and have a nice rest of the seminar.
Thank you. Bye.